Hi friends, it's Sarah from Ruffles and Rainboots.com, and today I am making a mini mushroom gnome with moss. Boop! If you'd like to make it, stick around. As always, please like this video so I know you're here crafting. So you can see I have a little felted bee, some adorable little spots, and a little nice moss extra bit here at the bottom. So it's super easy to make this, and it's kind of like one of those easy win crafts. This is ceramic mushroom I bought at the craft store, and I was debating whether or not to add little feet to it with a heart plank. This is a felted bee I got on Amazon. I'm using red and white paints for an Amanita muscaria, and I'm using a paintbrush and a sponge dauber, and that's important. We also need something for a nose and something for a beard. You can use faux fur, yarn, or even the moss. So the reason I'm using the sponge dauber to paint this entire thing is because one, it gives it texture all over, and two, let me zoom in, on the bottom edge down here, you see these cool little dots? It's so much better than running a straight edge paintbrush across the bottom. I just love this technique. So anyway, I'm lazy and I don't like waiting, so I just hit it with a heat gun and did a second coat. Hit it with a heat gun again and moved on to my white. Now, if you're unsure about where your spots are going to go, you can just use a pencil, but I'm just using white chalk paint to create circles, ovals, and sort of organic shapes in no more than groups of 3 to 5. I also use the end of my paintbrush or a little clay tool like this to add extra tiny little dots. I also use that to add 3 tiny red dots to my nose. Isn't that sweet? Okay, so again, laziness. Hit those with with a hot air gun, and then I went over my larger white rounds just so you couldn't see anything through them. And now, do you want to see something really, really fun? I messed this up so badly. Okay, so I thought little gills, right? And so I used a micron, or you can use a marker, and I painted or wrote on black stripes. It was a major fail. I hated it a lot. So I used that straight paintbrush and painted over everything, including the bottom, because guess what? The ceramic was not the same color white as what I used. So now it all matched. Easy. Hit it with a heat gun, and now I'm going to show you what I really ended up really liking, and that was putting this on some kind of stand. I'm using a piece of washi tape. I used my detail tip glue gun to create little bumps from the inside edge all the way to the outside edge. And I did this all the way around and then let that dry. Couldn't hit it with a heat gun. Look at me. I'm so impatient. Anywho, I am now going to show you how to be a rock star. If you seal everything when you paint it, it makes it look so much better. Now I'm using a Liquitex, which is a high gloss, and I love it. So you're just gonna get that ready. We're gonna paint the rest of this. And why I'm showing you this is because you don't have to use mineral. This is Mineral by Waverly. You can use an off-white or cream. My white exploded on me. I don't know why. I needed to share that with you. But you can use any color under here. Just make sure it's darker than the white you're using. And now what I'm doing is lightly going over it. Now it's mostly dry, but it's not all the way dry. So I'm also blending it down off the side of that little raised piece. And I just did that all the way around. So it gives it dimension and you can see it, but it's not as stark as the black pen or paint would be. And so that's my handy dandy technique for letting it dry. I'm so impatient that I also painted the bottom that same mineral color just to have something to do because I am really honestly the most impatient crafter you've ever met. But I couldn't hit the hot glue with a heat gun, so I just had to wait. So now we're going to get to the actual gloss. That's how I clean up. I just scooch it all off to the side. So always put your gloss into a separate container. You don't need a lot. You can see mine isn't even the entire bottom. Using a foam brush, I wouldn't use a dauber for this. Using a foam brush, just gloss the entire thing after protecting your surface because varnish will stay wherever you varnished it. So look how much better this looks already. I am not a good painter, but I love it when these things start to shine like this. You can see my light in there too, but it just makes it look so much better. And I did all the way around, including the bottom, the little part I painted at the bottom because I couldn't wait. And then I hit that with a heat gun, making sure it didn't stick too long on the hot glue portion there. That's how I store my moss because it gets everywhere. As you can see, I'm super indecisive. End up going with not that there. I use scraps of faux fur, and I'm just going to cut this entirely. And watch this. Yeah, what you think is going to happen. Sarah, get that off the table. Look at that. That's me laughing. I messed that up so bad. I had to sit there for 10 minutes and just pull everything out. All right, so I cut it into two 1-inch pieces and glued them on in stages because I wanted to make sure I had a nice full beard, a narrow beard, but full. Then I glued on my little wooden nose, which I also sealed. And now I'm just deciding I want to use this moss somewhere. So I glued it at the bottom. Now, I will say, if you glue this moss on, you have to go back and just hit the ends of it, making sure none of it will come off. I put a tiny little bit underneath the beard and glued it down, brushed out the beard, and here's what he looks like. Yep, that's me almost dropping it. Now I'm going to glue on my little felted bee from Amazon. If you're handy, you can make that as well. But it's a quick craft. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. As always, thank you for being here with me. Please like, share, and subscribe for more crafty fun.